All right, Battletech enthusiasts, Fritz here. We're taking a look at, or I'm defining, and the feedback has been awesome. You guys have really been giving me some new ideas to think about from the Battletech perspective. I'm looking at classes, definitions for the way certain mechs are going to operate on the tabletop. And I want to share with you my definition and my prime example of a skirmisher type mech. And of course, in the comments, the feedback, I would love to hear your opinion on what further mechs, what secret weapon mechs I should be exploring in here. So my thought of a skirmisher is a low battle value mech. Now, obviously, if you're playing at 2,000 battle value, your spread of mechs is going to be on the lower spectrum, right? You've got a lot of bases to cover. Sure, you could take one assault mech, but you're going to be surrounded, and it's going to be more challenging in the initiative phase versus playing a 6, 7, 8,000 battle value game where you got a lot of points to spread around the toys. Regardless of whatever level I'm playing, I want to spend the minimum battle value that I can on a skirmisher mech because it's going to be operating alone. It can't rely on support. I don't want to pump more points into support. It might get taken out. And for game purposes, actual damage, right? Actual damage output, it would be nice to hit stuff, but I really don't care if it hits or not. It's more there to keep my opponent on edge. It's more for the tricknology. It's more for the psychological aspect on there. So I select the Thorn. It's a low battle value. It's relatively fast. Armor, light mech, what's that? It does have one hand. So in those wacky missions where I have to grab something, I can. Even though I'm not directly going to use a skirmisher for that. It's long-range missile, 5-pack. That is where the action is at. It has enough of a range and enough of a bite on there that I can shoot out. Combined with the speed, combined with getting into position, every turn, somewhere on you, I'm going to be chucking a 5-range missile long pack, LRM 5-pack on you. If it hits, great. If it misses, it doesn't matter. I want you to notice where that mech is. I want, at the beginning of the game, as I deploy and my lance is supporting, and as we're advancing, the Thorn suddenly breaks off to the left or the right, hugs the table edge, and starts furiously running down it. That's going to attract your attention. And essentially, if you send off any mechs that you send off above its battle value, this is kind of how I calculate it. So any mechs that you send off above its battle value that are not going against the main thrust of my lance, that's like a free tactical advantage. If you pull off a medium because you want to outclass me, and you will, absolutely. I'll run and gun, I'll be skirmishing, do the Highland way, hit and run, then that's great. You know, if you want to send a Griffin or a Shadowhawk on there, anything over 1,000 battle value, fabulous. So from my perspective, that is the role of the skirmisher. It's there to engage. Maybe it's a very Romanesque type thing, right? Run up with some slings, toss them, and then run back behind the shield wall, and then the main thrust advances in there. So from that perspective, and I should say, because we were talking about this the other day, the role of vehicles. You know, one of the great things about Battletech is it can be as simple as you want and still be a very rewarding game. We could play just mechs. We can even artificially restrict it by saying certain mechs or looking at a battle value. You can go more complex and now add in vehicles and infantry, total warfare. And you can go even more complex than that by adding off-table support and mines and ships. And I've played with everything except ships. So literally, physically, not spaceships, actual like ships in the water and stuff. I think we need to kind of explore that for the complete Battletech experience. But the thought process here is if we're really trying to spend points, there's some really, really nice mint light vehicles, hovers, things that could throw out for the same battle value, more long-range shots, whether it's in LRM packs or autocannons, can move at the same speed or possibly faster. So why wouldn't I take a vehicle? Simply because, well, it doesn't have a hand, but more importantly, the motive hits, the ability to become critically immobilized. Sure, I could get my leg blown off with the Thorn, but that mobility, that guaranteed mobility, the mobility of a mech that you can count on as much as you can count on anything in Battletech, is really, really important, I feel, if we're mounting a skirmish type unit in there. So your thoughts on that? Could you fulfill the same role looking at light vehicles or things like that? And likewise, what other light mechs should I be looking at to fulfill in my lances for a skirmisher defined role?